Great again.
Okay, we're making radio great again here at AM 1400 KBFD, the voice of Fort Dodge with David Fierke. Now we're really good, I'll tell you. I'm going to get. By the way, you can watch and hear this program, yes, video and audio, by going to Alpha Media Fort Dodge website. There we are, StreamYard, of course, and that's on the AM 1400 KBFD Facebook page as well, or my personal Facebook page, which is AM 1400 KBFD. Okay, I got the camera pointed right at me, so I got to get it over to Dr. Evil. And okay,
I was going to say, there you are, not me.
There we go. Okay, all right, move to your left a little bit there, David, and we'll get the whole thing. Oh, there we go. There's the whole package. There we go. You ever wonder what David Fierke looked like? There he is. By the way, we're broadcasting live from the Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters studio, and Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters is at 612 South 32nd Street here in Fort Dodge. You may contact Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters by calling 515-576-6481. They probably have an online address that I should find out about. Anyway, a lot of stuff happening in our town. Mm-hmm. Let's start with broadband. It's always my favorite subject. And it sounds like, I believe it was in the paper this morning and after the council meeting last night, we can look to 2023. Is that correct?
That is correct. I would say the majority of the town should be able to be hooked up in 2023. We, and most of that would be about mid-year.
Oh, we could be hooked up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll start construction next year. The goal is to finish design through 21. And then when weather breaks in 22, which, that can be like March, then we start building the ring. The ring of power. There will be a fiber ring that will go throughout the city. Mm-hmm. And then from the ring, then you build out your more neighborhood networks. And the reason you do a ring is that way you have, if you have a break somewhere, you have basically dual fed fiber. I mean, not every house won't be dual fed, but you try to do as much as possible. So you have like a self-healing system mm-hmm. that if there is a break, we can direct it another way so people keep as much contact as possible. So building the ring will be an effort, and that'll be the 22 project, and starting to build the I guess, I don't know, backbone's the right word. The ring, you have the ring, and then you'll have the main trunks coming off of that, and then we'll get to most people's houses by 23.
You know your stuff, obviously, but yeah. I don't, and I don't
know
think
it that well either.
The majority of the people know. Could you define broadband? Somebody asked me that last night. What is broadband? And I stumbled around and mumbled, and it occurred to me I really didn't have a full definition of the word broadband.
Yeah, that would be interesting. What the actual Webster definition of broadband is commonly used referring to high-speed internet, broadband versus narrowband. So when we talk about broadband or what the city is going to build, the city is going to build a fully fiber network, which means it's going to be 100% fiber. It's going to be transmitted to us from other places around the world by providers through a fiber network. Our network is going to be all fiber all the way to your home. There'll be a fiber optic cable going all the way to your home, highest speed possible. And it'll be, obviously your speeds are controlled more by mm-hmm. your electronics on either end, not the fiber. The fiber is the speed of light. That's it. That's your high speed.
That's my deal, huh?
And so, we'll be offering, like 100 meg package, for those who want that. And then we'll be offering a 1 gig package, and we'll be talking what is the, what'll be our pro forma pricing, because we'll set a price mm-hmm. ordinance on the 12th about what our pricing is going to be for those packages. And then, we'll also, when we do businesses that need more business and industry, there'll be obviously, special packages for them based on their demands. We will not have a monthly data limit like you'll see from other providers that
unlimited data.
Yeah, they basically want to slow you down or shut you off before your month's out. We'll have unlimited data.
Okay. Now, when we talk broadband, are we also talking access to television somehow?
Yeah, good point, Mike. So both phone and television. So we'll be able to offer phone service mm-hmm. through the broadband if people want to do that. Most people are going to other ways, whether it's cellular only or whatever through phone, but we'll be able to offer that if people want phone service.
Do we know what television service we would have?
And yeah, that's what I was getting to that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, we don't know that yet. We have, I would say, in the last month, made the decision not to offer a single television service like, like a media. Well, I would say MediaCom has its own lineup, or like other cities that have done this. They actually provide the video signal directly from a head end. And what we're deciding to do is, because we think this is where people want to go and people want options, is through streaming.
Okay,
like their own streaming video and their own video services. For example, at my house, my television service comes from YouTube TV. No, it's not necessarily an endorsement. I mean, I like it, but I'm not here product endorsing on your show. But
No.
There's options like that. There's Hulu, there's Sling, there's all these video streaming services now. And we feel the best thing is, let's just offer the fastest, most reliable broadband, and then people go get their own video services. For simplicity's sake, there may be a way where we work, with one or two to make it easy to sign up, versus, because some people, you could tell them, hey, go get your own streaming video. They're like, what are you talking about? So we want to have something so we can work with those folks too when we're up and running. But so that's the plan. So we won't be, we won't look like a cable company.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think really, if you get Hulu and Netflix and probably YouTube TV, you're pretty well set. Yeah. The only reason I still have I have DirecTV now. Yeah. I mean, really, the only reason I have that is for network news and network programs.
Yes.
There's a few of them I like, 60 Minutes, and just I've always watched the news and those sorts of things. Mainly for the local news, you can get the national news pretty easily on Facebook.
Yeah.
After, I think I usually watch NBC News, and I think within 15 minutes after that is over with, the entire broadcast is available on their Facebook page.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I don't think they stream it live to their Facebook page, but anyway. David Fierke is our guest today on 1400 KVFD, the voice of Fort Dodge. There were a couple of good questions asked around broadband today about the financing. Andy over at Green
State Credit Union.
Green State, thank you very much. And the other young woman was from Northwest, from what I understand, and they were talking about financing broadband. Yeah. You heard their questions. They seem to be concerned, and maybe I'm putting words in their mouth, and I do not intend to do that. But they seem to be a little concerned about the overall cost to the city and how it would be financed. Is that what you took from their questions, or not?
Were they on your show? Or
no, they weren't on my show. You weren't at the Growth Alliance, were you?
That's correct.
I forgot. Doggone it. I thought I was assuming for a minute that you were at the Growth Alliance meeting today with Chuck Grassley. No, let me back up and rephrase that. There seemed to be a couple of questions concerning the affordability and how would we get this money paid back, because of course we have no collateral and we have our revenue stream is a ways out. So could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, it's not your typical municipal financing where we back it up with the general obligation of the city. It would be a revenue bond that would be paid for by future revenues. A couple of things that go into that is and also it's a competitive utility as well. Unlike water and sewer, where we're monopolies, this would be competitive. So it does require a very high level of thought and financial modeling. And we've run very detailed financial pro formas on this utility and what we can expect, like year 1, year 2, year 3. But if you think about it, you're building multi-millions of dollars worth of infrastructure before customer 1 is signed up. So the tricky thing is carrying that cost until the customers are signed up, and then you have the revenue to pay it back. And between Howard R. Green, which is our design consultants, who have are been doing this a long time and very familiar with how this works. And then
where are they out of? Howard Green?
Howard R. Green is a company that's, well, the folks that we work with, they're on their broadband utility group is out of Cedar Rapids, but
Oh, really?
They're a firm in Iowa that's got a big presence as a civil engineering firm, as well as the broadband stuff. And then with them, and then our consultant Mike Maloney, who presented last night from DA Davidson, who's a financial advisor that basically is the expert in the state on how to put these deals together financially, is working, and we're having conversations. Ideally, we're hopefully going to have all the banks that want to participate locally participating. So, this would be it's a community project funded with the local banks, and that will make for a good good project for them, and a good payoff back, and a good community development project. I see it.
Oh, no, make no mistake. I'm just asking you these questions to make it clear to the listening audience and to myself, frankly, how this all comes together. I'm very excited about the project. I'm delighted that we passed this, and then we passed it with an overwhelming majority of 71% of the vote. Obviously, we want something done here in town, and it sounds like it's getting done. Of course, my patience level. I wanted it done yesterday.
If there's any, I think if there's been any criticism of our progress, it's been, it's not here yet. We want it now. Versus,
yes, it is. Yeah.
But like I said, we're building a $30 million utility from scratch, and that takes a bit of time and effort. And
I think you've gone through it pretty well. Though. I think you've covered all the bases. I see West Des Moines, or one of those. It was West Des Moines. The city council wanted to get broadband, and they didn't take a vote. They didn't. And Mediacom, the great evil, sued them, saying that they did not follow proper procedure. And Mediacom's trying to slow them down so they can continue to milk their customers. But so West Des Moines is going to have to go back to the voters and get this approved, which West Des Moines is a fairly affluent area, and I'm sure they'll get that done.
And we've been sensitive to state law, and that even makes it maybe a little bit more tricky on the financing, what you can and can't do from the state. You can't use your tax revenues to support this utility. That's in the state law, and so that makes it where it becomes not an easy finance. And ultimately, the city's in this. The city's in it for the long haul. That's why we chose to do it and build it ourselves versus, contracting with another third-party company to come in. Because there were some that were interested in coming in, and we're like, yeah, you're great, but we really want to control this thing. It's not so much control it now, because we're going to control it and deal with all the headaches and all the startup and all the difficulties in putting it together now. But it's more for 20, 30 years from now when it's time to reinvest. If you're making those decisions for the best interest of the community, that's where the council feels it's better that it's council owned. Companies change hands and decisions get made in New York City that affect Fort Dodge and the quality of the service. And we want the decisions made on the quality of service affecting Fort Dodge made in Fort Dodge.
Yeah. Well, when this is all over, we should build a statue of you out there, because I'll tell you, it's been a long process, and I really think the people of Fort Dodge and the surrounding area will be delighted with the outcome. And it seems like we're struggling with technology of the past, trying to break away from it almost. And I think we're doing that. I think more and more cities will continue to do this. A lot of smaller towns have been doing it for years, but if a town the size of West Des Moines is doing it, that'll catch on in the Des Moines area. I don't know what the rest of the Des Moines metro area does, but
and I think you'll see more. It's one of those interesting things is where some of the smaller towns have been the leaders in this, and a lot of that has happened because the smaller towns, one is there was good access to federal money to rural telecommunications projects, so they're able to take advantage of this. And then a lot of them also have electrical utilities, and it just seemed like when 10 or so years ago the communities realized, hey, we could use our electrical utility, run the wires from the poles and provide the service, and it made it easier. And smaller sometimes can be a little easier. It's easier to manage than a big utility. We're going to have a $30 million utility. We're going to spend $1.2 million just on designing engineering this thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big deal, and you know,
So you cause some people in town to
Yeah.
freak out badly and fall on the floor just
Yeah.
by the $1.2 million
Yeah.
engineering.
I mean, but a city like Fort Dodge is, you know, we're too big to be considered rural by most federal standards to have access to their monies, and we're too small to where, you know, a private company is willing to seriously invest in us. A private company, I'm not naming any names, but is not willing to invest because we don't have enough customers. So that's where we think we're right kind of stuck in the middle where we got to do it ourselves.
Yeah. Well, if you remember when we were fighting over the crosstown direct, geez, what's wrong with my mouth today? When we were fighting over the crosstown connector, some suggested that rather than put up big signs showing the way through town, we should just hand paint a sign and put it on a telephone pole. Yeah, that's classy, you know, just the way we did things in the 40s and 50s, you know.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be picky, but you know, there's folks that are saying, "Well, we shouldn't be doing what we're doing at the mall." It's like, well, folks,
the mall was from the 60s almost, you know, or at least the 70s. I mean, it was just, it looked run down. There were a lot of empty spaces there, and when Sears and Yonkers left, that was it, you know.
And retail evolves.
Yes,
I mean,
it does.
And that's just human existence. I mean, it evolved. It used to be all retail was downtown.
Yes.
And people loved that. And they went to department stores that were 6 stories tall. And it was really cool. I remember that as a kid doing some of that stuff in downtown Champaign, where those stores are no longer there. They're out in their mall, which is now recreating itself.
Yeah.
Because it's a circa late 70s mall.
Sure.
But retail just evolves, and ours, you know, it evolved where the mall is not the ideal destination. So we're trying to, you know, reinvent that with you know, nice opportunities for both recreation, lifestyle, and you know, retail and restaurants. And I'm sure, have you had anyone on talking about the reinvestment announcement that was late last week, the 17 million?
Yeah, we talked with people since. I mean, the mayor was here.
All right, awesome.
You know,
so I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
but, you know, we have to generate sales tax within that area to get that 17 million. So there's a lot of work that's got to be done to try to get.
Well, Denny Potts was on in the 2:00 hour, and he said, "Well, you know, the grant we have is a grant, but it has to be paid back." I went, "What? How long?" He said, "Oh, about 20 years." Yeah. So I think we're okay. But as long as we got the grant, I think we with the retail revenue, we can pay it back in that time period with no problem, I would think. We do need to see some more action out there at the corridor of or the crossroads of global innovation and those sort of things. But I'm sure, didn't any talked about it today, that those jobs will be coming and those over the fence companies will be coming, and I certainly would like to see that.
Yes, yeah, the more the better.
David Fierke is our guest, and I should have asked for calls. If you'd like to ask the city manager a question, 955-1400. That's 955-1400. No questions like, Fierke, why are you a butthead? That's my job. You know, let's keep as always, let's keep the discussion civil. And remember that there's these plans and these ideas, as David has indicated here, just don't happen overnight. A lot of thought goes into them, and once the decision is made to go forward, then there's a lot of engineering costs and planning involved, and then the actual construction. So that's it's gratifying to hear then that we went from in 3 years we went from a vote. I think the vote was it last year? No, it was in 2019, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this November would be 2 years.
Right. So we should be up and going in 3.5 years from the time that we took the vote.
Yeah.
So that's all a good thing. Do you have anything you'd like to bring up, or?
Yeah, you know, probably a public service announcement.
Public service announcement. All right.
You know, as we come into Independence Day,
right?
Just I want people to know that fireworks can only be shot off in Fort Dodge the 1st through the 4th.
Right.
So
is there a time limit? I mean,
there is now. The time limit's 5 to 10, but on the Friday 4th? And Saturday, the 2nd and the 3rd, you can go to 11.
Okay.
And then the 4th is the Sunday. So,
okay.
So I think I could be wrong, but I think that's 10 o'clock too. So, Yeah, so please be mindful of your neighbors. That's our only time they're allowed to be shot off in Fort Dodge. If you do have a complaint about it, don't call 911. The non-emergency number is 573-2323.
People call
So,
911.
Yeah, for stuff like that. So yeah,
That's pretty
so,
reasonable hours. Of course, people violate it.
Yeah,
I mean, and I talked with Roger Porter a couple
Yeah.
years about this, because
yeah.
there was fireworks going off
Mhm.
all the time in my neighborhood. I set fireworks off myself, but within the prescribed times. And I called the police station. I said, I have the addresses, I have the people, I have the time they did it. I even have video. And they said, well, you and about 1,000 other people have that same thing.
And it's hard on those days. And the police officer has to see it launched. I was correct. Let me correct my
Can
times.
video help that sort of thing? Because there's video everywhere now.
So the time is 5 to 10 Thursday and Friday, and then 5 to 11 Saturday and Sunday. So I was wrong about Sunday.
Okay.
All right.
You were wrong. Come on.
I can regularly be wrong. So that Ragbri is coming at the end.
Ragbri is coming. Yes.
Yeah. July 26th. We're the host town. We're still looking for volunteers. People interested in volunteering. You can go to the Ragbri Facebook page, which is Ragbri Fort Dodge 2021.
Okay.
So there's that. And should we talk about junk days? That's your favorite topic.
That's my favorite. I see while I was gone, you got rid of them.
I did not get rid of it. I only made it way better. So
by reducing services, I've made it so much better.
It's so much better now. So anybody this summer, whatever their garbage day is, they can ask for a bulk pickup. It's called Junk Days on Demand. All you have to do is text to number 40. The number is 408-8988. Text junk, text garbage, and then it'll be prompted you through to have a pickup. If you text before noon, the business day before your pickup day, which is what your pickup day is. Are you?
My
Thursday?
pickup day is Thursday.
So by Wednesday at noon, you should try this. You should set something out. And
I'm going to
junk to 408-8988. And there's a few prompts that'll ask you for your address and things like that. We'll just come pick it up on your garbage day. It works, and it works slick.
All right. Yeah. You see how he did that? Oh, I made it better.
It's so much better. It's so much better than waiting to that one day a year that you might forget or be out of town.
But we got rid of all that fun stuff of watching people drive around town picking up your junk. I put out a bunch of stuff when I still lived on 3rd Avenue North, and people came by and took it all. Only about 3 different cars.
Junk Day is not a city holiday.
Give me that number again, please.
408-8988.
8988. All right, David Fierke has been our guest. Well, we're going to have to go, David, but thank you very much. It's 4:00 in the afternoon.
Your news, your town, your station.